March 17, 1962, 4:07 a.m., Paris. The phone rang in Brigitte Bardot's bedroom, shrill, insistent, dragging her from the shallow sleep she'd finally found after hours of insomnia. She considered ignoring it. Nothing good came from 4 a.m. phone calls, but it kept ringing. Finally, she answered. "Will? Brigitte Bardot?" The voice was American, male, familiar somehow. "Yes." "Who is this?" "My name is Elvis Presley. I'm sorry for calling so late, or early. I don't know what time it is there." Brigitte sat up, suddenly awake. Elvis Presley. The Elvis Presley was calling her at 4 a.m. "It's 4 in the morning. Why are you calling me? I read an interview you gave, maybe 2 weeks ago, in Paris Match. About fame, about losing yourself, about being trapped." Brigitte remembered that interview. She'd been brutally honest. Too honest, her publicist had said. Exposed too much vulnerability. And I'm living the same thing. Everything you described. The prison, the performance, the feeling like you're disappearing. I read it and thought, she understands. She's the only person who might understand. His voice was shaking slightly. Not the smooth Elvis from movies. Something raw, more desperate. "Are you drunk?" Brigitte asked carefully. "No, just tired and lonely and trying to figure out if this is just how life is now, forever, or if there's some way out." "Why call me? We've never met." "Because you're living it too. And you were honest about it. Everyone else pretends it's wonderful, pretends fame is a gift. But you admitted it's a nightmare. I needed to talk to someone who knows that truth." Brigitte was quiet for a moment. Then, "All right, talk. What do you want to say?" Elvis took a shaky breath. "I'm dying. Not literally, but slowly. Every movie, every stupid song, every fake smile, I'm dying a little more, and I don't know how to stop it." For the next 43 minutes, Elvis Presley and Brigitte Bardot talked. Two people who'd never met, who lived on different continents, who existed in slightly different versions of the same prison. Elvis talked about Colonel Parker, how he controlled everything, every decision, every project, how Elvis couldn't say no, couldn't take the roles he wanted, couldn't make the music he cared about. "I'm making garbage, beach movies, formulaic nonsense, and I know it's garbage, but Parker says it makes money, says this is what people want, so I keep making it, and you hate it. I despise it. I look at what I'm doing and I don't recognize myself. I wanted to be a serious actor, make real music, but instead, I'm this, a product, a commodity." Elvis Presley, Time A. Brigitte understood completely. "I have the same thing. Every project, someone else decides. Directors, studios, publicists. Everyone has a say, except me. Do you ever want to just walk away? Just quit? Every day? But then what? Who am I without Brigitte Bardot?" Exactly. That's the trap. We've become these things, these personas, and we don't know if there's anything real underneath anymore. They were quiet, the transatlantic line crackling slightly. "I watched one of your films," Elvis said, "last year. The truth. You were extraordinary. That courtroom scene, you were really suffering. I could see it. I was. That whole film, I was breaking down. And they kept cameras on me, captured it, called it great acting. Jesus. That's exploitation. That's the industry. They see our pain, and they film it, package it, sell it, and we let them? Why do we let them? Because we don't know how to stop. Because we're afraid of what happens if we say no." Elvis talked about his fear of being forgotten, of being replaced, of discovering that Elvis Presley was all he had, that without the fame, he was nobody. "I know I'm being used. I know Parker is destroying me. But I'm terrified of leaving. Because what if he's right? What if this mediocre version is all I'm capable of? What if I try for something real and fail?" Brigitte understood that fear intimately. "At least now you're successful. Even if it's garbage, if you try for something real and fail, you're just a failure. Exactly. Better to be a successful sellout than a failed artist. Is it though? Better? I don't know. I honestly don't know anymore. The conversation shifted. They talked about the people around them, how everyone wanted something, how genuine relationships felt impossible. I can't trust anyone, Elvis said. Everyone either wants to use me or they're intimidated by me. There's no middle ground. Same. People either see Brigitte Bardot and want something from her, or they see the real me and they're disappointed. I'm not enough without the persona. Do you have anyone who knows the real you? Not really. A few people. But even with them, I'm performing some version. I've forgotten how to just exist. Me too. Everything is performance now, even alone. Around 4:35 a.m. Paris time, the conversation got heavier. Elvis admitted he'd thought about suicide, not actively planning it, but thinking about it as an escape. I'm not saying I'd do it, but I understand why people do. When the performance becomes unbearable, when you can't find yourself anymore, death starts looking like freedom. Brigitte's voice was quiet. I've tried 3 times. Pills. They saved me each time. Silence on the line. Then Elvis, barely audible. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry you felt that desperate. Don't be sorry. Be aware that this life, this fame, it destroys people. It's destroying both of us, just slower than a gun or pills. What stops you? Elvis asked. From trying again. Fear. Cowardice. Spite. I don't want them to win. Don't want the machinery that's consuming me to get the satisfaction of my death. That's not cowardice. That's survival. Maybe. Or maybe it's just stubbornness. Refusing to give them what they want. What do they want? Everything. Until there's nothing left. Then they'll move on to the next person and do it again. At 4:42 a.m., Elvis said something that changed the conversation completely. I think you're braver than me. Why? Because you're honest about suffering. You admit it publicly. I can't do that. I have to keep pretending everything's fine. Keep smiling. Keep being Elvis. That's not bravery. That's desperation. I'm honest because I can't keep lying. But you're still holding on. Still trying to protect something. I'm not holding on. I'm drowning. I just haven't stopped smiling while I drown. The conversation had been going for over 35 minutes. Both of them exhausted. Both wrung out from honesty. Then Elvis said the words that would make Brigitte cry for hours. Thank you for existing. For being honest about this. For making me feel less alone. I called you at 4 a.m. and you talked to me. A stranger. You didn't have to do that. You called. Because you needed someone who understood. Yeah, and you did. You understood everything, without judgment, without trying to fix it. You just got it. His voice cracked. I don't have anyone who gets it, who understands that I'm suffocating. Everyone thinks I should be grateful, that I'm living the dream. It's not a dream, it's a nightmare. Exactly. And you're the only person who's ever admitted that to me. Silence. Then, Brigitte, can I tell you something? Something I've never said out loud? Yes, I don't think I'm going to make it. I think this is going to kill me. Maybe not soon, but eventually. I don't think I'm strong enough to survive what I've become. Brigitte's throat tightened. Don't say that. Why not? It's true. You've tried 3 times to escape. I haven't tried yet. But I think about it, and I don't think I have the strength you have. To keep going after trying. To keep fighting. Elvis, I'm going to die in this prison. I know it. I can feel it. And I just wanted someone to know. That I knew. That I saw it coming. Brigitte was crying now. Silent tears. You can't give up. You have to keep fighting. I'm so tired, Brigitte. So fucking tired. I know. I'm tired too. But we have to keep going. Why? Because if we don't, they win. The machinery that's destroying us. If we die, they just move on to the next person. But if we survive, we prove it's possible. Is it possible? Do you really think we can survive this? I have to believe we can. Because the alternative is unbearable. At 4:50 a.m., Elvis said he had to go. His handlers would be waking him soon. Another day of filming garbage. "Thank you," he said again, "for listening, for understanding, for existing. Thank you for calling, for being honest, for reminding me I'm not the only one drowning. If I don't make it, if this kills me, will you remember this conversation? Remember that I tried? Don't talk like that. Please, just promise me, if something happens, you'll remember that I knew, that I wasn't blind to what was happening to me. I promise. But Elvis, please, keep fighting, please. I'll try. I don't know if I can, but I'll try." The call ended. Brigitte sat in bed, holding the phone, crying. For Elvis, for herself, for everyone trapped in the same machinery. For the next 3 hours, she couldn't stop crying. Deep, wrenching sobs. Grief for someone she'd just met. Grief for what fame was doing to both of them. She never told anyone about the call. Kept it private, sacred. Over the years, she'd think about it. Wonder if Elvis remembered. Wonder if he'd survived the way she was trying to survive. In 1977, when Elvis died, Brigitte was in Saint-Tropez. She heard the news on the radio. Elvis Presley, found dead at Graceland. Cause of death, heart attack. He was 42. Brigitte turned off the radio, sat in silence, remembered the 4 a.m. call 15 years earlier. "I don't think I'm going to make it. I think this is going to kill me." He'd known, had told her, had predicted his own destruction. She cried again, not the public tears people cry for celebrities. Private tears for someone who'd understood, who'd called her at 4 a.m. because she was the only person who might comprehend his suffering. She kept her promise. Remembered the conversation. Remembered that Elvis had known what was happening to him. That he'd tried. That he'd fought as long as he could. For 40 years, Brigitte never spoke about the call, protected it, kept Elvis's vulnerability private. Then, in 2002, a biographer researching Elvis discovered phone records. A 43-minute call from Graceland to Brigitte Bardot's Paris number. March 17, 1962, 3:07 a.m. Memphis time. The biographer contacted Brigitte. "Did Elvis call you in 1962? "Yes." "What did you talk about?" "That's private, between him and me. But for historical purposes, some things are more important than history. Elvis trusted me with his vulnerability. I won't violate that trust, even after his death." But in 2004, she gave one interview. Brief, carefully worded. "Elvis Presley called you at 4 a.m. because he was suffering. And he'd read an interview where I admitted I was suffering too. He needed to talk to someone who understood. What did he say? That he was trapped. That fame was destroying him. That he didn't think he'd survive it. And did he survive it? No. He died at 42. The machinery killed him exactly the way he predicted it would. Did you try to help him?" "I listened. That's all I could do. We both knew there was no help, no escape, just survival or surrender. He survived for 15 more years. Then he surrendered." "Do you wish you'd done something different? Said something different?" Brigitte was quiet for a long time. "I don't know what I could have said. We were both drowning. You can't save someone else when you're barely keeping your head above water yourself. But you survived. He didn't. I got lucky, made different choices, walked away before it killed me. Elvis couldn't, or wouldn't, or maybe the prison he was in was different from mine. Stronger bars, higher walls. What do you want people to know about that call? That Elvis knew. He wasn't blind to what was happening to him. He saw the machinery consuming him. And he tried to warn me, tried to make sure I didn't end up the same way. Did his warning help? Yes. When I think about giving up, I remember Elvis. Remember that surrender is permanent, that the only way to beat this system is to survive it. So I keep surviving, for both of us. In 2016, a music historian asked Brigitte, if you could talk to Elvis now, what would you say? I'd say, I'm sorry. Sorry I couldn't save you. Sorry you were trapped in a prison I managed to escape. Sorry the world that claimed to love you destroyed you instead. What do you think he'd say back? Probably thank you for trying. Thank you for understanding. Thank you for surviving when I couldn't. Elvis Presley called Brigitte Bardot at 4 a.m. What he said made her cry for hours. March 1960, a transatlantic call. Two icons drowning in fame. 43 minutes of brutal honesty. Elvis confessed, "I'm dying. I don't think I'll survive this. I wanted someone to know." Brigitte listened, understood, promised to remember. 15 years later, Elvis died at 42, exactly as he'd predicted. And Brigitte kept her promise, remembered the call, remembered that Elvis had seen his own destruction coming, had fought it as long as he could, had finally surrendered when survival became too expensive. The 4 a.m. call remained private for 40 years, protected, sacred, because Elvis had trusted Brigitte with his truth, and she honored that trust. What he said made her cry for hours, not just that night, but 15 years later when he died, and every year after when she remembered his voice at 4 a.m., shaking, desperate, predicting his own end. Two people, one call, a shared understanding that fame was prison. Elvis didn't make it out, but Brigitte did, and she survived, in part because Elvis's 4 a.m. warning showed her what surrender looked like. She wouldn't let his death be meaningless, wouldn't let the machinery claim her the way it claimed him. She'd survive. For both of them, that was the gift of the 4 a.m. call. Not comfort, not solution, but witness. Elvis and Brigitte witnessed each other's suffering, and that witnessing, that recognition of shared pain, was the only thing that felt real in lives built entirely on performance. The call lasted 43 minutes. The impact lasted a lifetime.